Blessings on deck. Getting money inside my pocket. It's always a vibe, yeah, we cashing out, cashing out. Ain't chasing no clout, we just flex. Man, then go and big up your chest. Rocking from east to the west, you know, yeah, you know. So call up all them girls with the big things. We about to shut things down, oh. And shout out all my boys doing big things.
All right. Welcome. This is another episode of Stripe Live. Thanks for joining the show. Yeah, we're warming up. We see a lot of people coming in. Today is going to be an awesome day. Like, we have some special guests in the house. Like, really awesome lineup. First, we're going to be discussing with a very wonderful comedian by the name of NaMO. NaMO is a US-based comedian. He's been on tour with, like, you know, some of the best comedians in the US. He's been on tour with Vivian Orji from Insecure HBO show. He's also done tours with, you know, a lot of the big comedians in the New York area and all over the country, basically. Me and NaMO go way back from our Potaka days, but he's also a very smart, intelligent person. And I wanted to have him on this show so we can discuss the effects of positive thinking and laughter. With all that's going on, we need something to take our mind off of things and keep us in good spirits, in positivity, so that we can try to get through this. After NaMO is done, after we're done interviewing NaMO, we're also going to have a renowned vascular surgeon based out in New York. He is the one and only Dr. Kel Akuma. He's going to be taking some questions about COVID-19. Dr. Kel is a U.S. health and news published doctor who's based out of New York. He's actually one of the heroes that we have right now who are in the trenches fighting against COVID-19. And he is taking time out of his busy schedule to come on this show right now later on tonight to answer your COVID-19 questions. It's not every day you have a doctor who is based in one of the hardest hit places in the world when it comes to COVID-19 to come on live to take questions about COVID-19. A lot of you were on my last week's segment with Timmy Dakola, where we went over COVID-19 and we answered some of your questions. But now I wanted to reinforce that by inviting one of my friends in the field, the vascular surgeon, Kel Akuma, to come on here. So let's go right into it. I'm going to get my first guest for today on here, NaMO. So let's see if NaMO is here somewhere. Let's see, NaMO. There you go. So I'm sending him an invite right now, see if he can get on the show and we get this thing going on the road. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining another episode of Stripe Live. Again, remember, it's all about Adidas. At the end of the show, we're going to be giving out some cash prizes to 5 lucky viewers. And you got to send those Adidas pictures. You know, you want to send us a picture of you to my DM of you and your Adidas gear for you to qualify to win prizes. So thank you for joining. We're waiting for NaMO. NaMO, where you at? Where NaMO at? Where is NaMO? Namoworldwide, where are you? Let's give him a few moments to join. All right, so let's see. We have a request. Let me see. NaMO, where are you? All right, so I'm adding NaMO right now. System is connected. NaMO!
What up?
I'll turn up the volume on this thing. There you
Yo,
go.
Duncan, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Wait. Is Mac G is on here? Wow, look at Mac G. Mac G. This is
Mag
not Scratch.
G.
This is not Scratch Supreme. This is NaMO. He's calling you DJ Scratch, DJ Kevin.
Ah,
Bro, you're not supposed to be
unbelievable.
touching your face. You're not supposed to
Oh,
touch.
no. I
Touch
live
your
in the
face.
world, yo, I
Okay.
live in the world of hand sanitizers.
Okay, good.
And I have not been outside of my house in
Okay.
what? This is going to a month now. I haven't been outside.
All right. You get a
So
pass.
if you add it all together, we're like chilling. So all I do right now is that I know I can't control it.
Uh-huh.
So all I do is I just get me the hand sanitizers going every 2 to 3 minutes. I'm back on it, even when I'm on the same desk.
So NaMO, what do you want to do?
Yo,
You want to wait to a lot of, because we have just 3 people viewing that right now. So
that's fine.
I'm hoping more people can come on, because you have a lot of important things to, the reason why I wanted you to come on here is because, we've been hearing a lot of bad news lately, so much bad news, especially given that we are in the thick of all, you're based out in, New Jersey, but you're right there, in the New York area. So, you're seeing the thing straight up. It's, I'm also here in the US as well. I'm in Milwaukee right now, and our numbers just went high over the past couple of weeks since we did our primary elections, where the Republicans kind of got people to go out and vote versus allow
Yeah.
people to vote via mailing ballots. And now the effects is what we're seeing, because our numbers seem to have spiked as well. But
And that's the part that we worry about, right?
yeah,
People making decisions for their own interests, and people trying to live up to the expectation of you have to vote.
exactly.
And then you have that conflict whether to vote or to save your family, and that's the hard choice people are having to make right.
Sorry about that. It paused me out a bit, but NaMO, just to our guests, some people know you on here. Some people might not know who you are. I've hyped you because I know you. I know your celebrity power and everything. So I want you to like talk about yourself. Just let people know who you are, man.
Well, I think the first thing is that you are right. I try to keep a very private persona. If I'm not working, I'm chilling. That's the rule of thumb, right? If you're not grinding to pay the bills, I mean, fun is how you define it. So I just chill. So yes, I might not be on social media doing all that, but the hustle is real, and real G's move in silence.
Yep.
So the name is NaMO, MC, actor, comedian. In the MC side, of course, I don't rap, because when you say MC, everybody will just hear he's a rap artist. Nah, like professional master of ceremonies.
Yep.
So I host events. And then, I do a bit of acting here and there, whether it's commercials, whether it's if I can show up as a wakapass, in some movie or some platform. And, I do stand up. And for me, over the years, stand up was like, the thing you have to go hard on, right?
Yep.
And you just have to keep performing to get better. But after a while, I was just like, I'm just going to chill more on the stand up and focus more on the emceeing, because that's like where I can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. It's like I can also perform, I can host, I can do everything. So I would say I've spent a lot more of my time on the MC side. But once in a while, I still pop up here and there in comedy shows, or I put together mine, like the Nigerian the Carry last one that we did in New York last year.
That's dope.
Which was
That was
really
dope.
which was just like paying tribute to our tenacity, right?
Yeah.
Putting together some of the coolest folks to do that.
So I know you've been, before the shutdown and everything, you've been on tour. I know you were on tour with Yvonne Orji.
Well, it was just my show. She
Okay.
was on tour by herself.
Okay.
The Hollywood people, she's doing that type. Then, so she came through for Nigerian the Carry last, the way we did it. So she came through to that show.
What do you think
sort of
about
supported her.
what do you think about the difference between, because it's a little tricky, right? When you're a Nigerian, right, based out here in the
Yeah.
U.S., and you have to juggle, being trying to make people laugh, but then you always have that mixed audience. You have your U.S. based audience who, they're in terms of jokes, like the things that make them laugh is a little different when you go into like a Nigerian setting and you have to like switch up your style so that they laugh too.
No,
Because
for real.
you can crack a joke like in front of like a normal American audience and they'll be dying, they'll get it. And then when you go to like a Nigerian crowd and you crack that same joke and they're like, everyone's looking at you like, what is this guy talking about?
I think that's where the skill is, right? That's where the
Yeah.
skill is for comedy. One of the reasons why I wanted to come on this show is because, this is intellectual conversation. So I don't have to try to put on some specific facade or stuff about comedy and just tell the truth about it. It's a skill that you have to develop like any other skill. But the challenge that you'll have is if you decide to write, you write without the audience in mind, right? You write without the context in mind. If you are a
Okay.
performer and you don't write at all, that's a challenge in itself. So you are right. The audiences would be different, but you got to write with the audience in mind. So for somebody
Yeah.
who's Nigerian or African, in the diaspora, you have to always remember that at the end of the day, you would always be in a mixed audience. Like I don't know what show or event or gig I've ever hosted or performed at where it wasn't or where it was 100% one specific culture. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's always. And then even now, the world is a global village. So it's like, you could even travel to Nigeria and still meet a mixed audience,
Yeah.
mixed whether from where they are from or where it is. So I think for any comedian, particularly for myself, we write we write with the audience in mind. We write with the idea that it has to be something that will cut across.
Yeah.
And so whether it's the way you put your setup so they can bring people along or the punchline, making it clear so that folks can actually get it. I think that's where the work is. So if you ask me, I'll say the cross-cultural comedian is the one who's working twice as hard.
Okay.
You're first of all working hard so that they can understand your accent.
Exactly.
I've been in places where you know how it is when people expect you to pronounce things a certain way.
Yeah.
One of the hard ones that I've been trying to figure out recently is the one of I can't say with my body still, is the one of I usually would say inevitable, but when I say it in an audience, they'll be like, what you say? What you say? As if they didn't hear me. So I have to now twist my neck and be like, inevitable,
Inevitable. Okay.
inevitable.
Let me test you right now, okay? Can
No,
you
no test, I'm still rehearsing. I just said I've been rehearsing. I've been here 10 plus years. I'm still rehearsing.
I know,
Bro,
but
the last time I rehearsed this hard was to get my visa. After that.
I just want the audience to just see you in action, right? I want you to do like a punchline joke.
You see,
right?
that is one thing that we got a break from. This entire COVID, as much as COVID is difficult, the one thing we've gotten break from is people don't walk up to us anymore and say, tell me a joke. They don't do that anymore. There are 1 billion people. There are so many millions doing anything funny right now on the internet. So guess who's on vacation? Comedians. We're chilling. Yeah, we're like, yo, it's about time. So that when we come back with the good material, people will be like,
I want people who are listening, some people don't get this because the thing about, me, like I have a very mixed, like, following. Like, I have a very US following, and then I have like the Niger folks, and with my music, I always got to switch it up every now and then. So, I might come with my Afro beats, and then eventually I might come with something that's more, understandable here. You got to like, but I just want to see people to see it live in action, right? So people can get it. So that's what I was asking. Maybe if you could just throw a few lines in, like something that our folks in Nigeria would vibe to, like will laugh at, and then come back and do something similar, but something that you can kick for like a US based audience and they're going to be laughing at too. Is this something you can do real quick?
I have to think about it because,
Wait, are you drinking the top? Bro,
Dettol.
I know Trump said you should use disinfectant, but you shouldn't be drinking it. Don't be drinking disinfectant.
I'm not drinking disinfectant.
Dude, I just saw you put Lysol in your cup, bro.
Well, it depends on how you feel about it.
Bro, no. Donald Trump wasn't saying you should actually try using disinfectant. He was suggesting it. Actually,
Donald Trump found out something we've been doing for a long time.
Bro,
right?
Bro.
And one of the things that he found out is this beard did not make it by itself.
I care.
You understand? This beard did not make it by itself.
I know.
So at the end of the day,
I know Africans like Donald Trump, but you shouldn't be putting Lysol in your drink, bro.
Who said I put Lysol?
Bro,
you're focusing on the wrong thing. You told me, Baba, cup. You are not in my house. I told you I've not left
Lysol in your cup, man.
Is that what we're discussing right now? You said I should tell you a joke.
We're talking about something else, and all of a sudden,
yes, now so focus on it now.
You put Lysol in your cup.
Who said I put Lysol in my cup? Who said I put Lysol in my cup?
That is Lysol.
Who said Lysol
in your cup?
Baba, let's focus on what we're trying to talk about.
It's good. Let's leave politics out of it. We didn't come here to talk about politics.
Yes.
Man, I know you Trump supporters. You be putting Lysol in your cup, man.
Who said I'm a Trump supporter?
The president said. Cup, bro.
The president said.
Let's move forward. So yeah, as you were saying,
Duncan, you're sounding like you're upset because you're in the medical professional line. As far as we're concerned, as far as the president is concerned, he said that we should make sure that we should investigate. That's what he said. He said they have to research on it. So everybody's testing it out. Some people are doing the one you put it inside your vein. Some people are doing the ones that you spray it into your mouth. So I'm just trying to dilute it. Bros, all those ones that see, let me tell you this. Right. This is one of the reasons, to your point, this is the reason why everything going on here is different for everybody. So for instance, think about it. When this whole COVID thing hit, everybody was running into Costco. And when you get to Costco, you can tell the difference between the Africans and the Americans. Yeah. Because all the Americans were running in there. They were like, oh, where's the tissue paper? Oh, where's the tissue paper? Where's the kitchen towel? Oh my gosh, we got to get you some vitamin B12. But what were the Africans doing? You will hear them. Hey, where the granite oil? Hey, Baba, where the granite oil? I beg, my guy, hold that almond seed. Where the plantain? You know, I'm like, so everything is different for everybody. For me, I've made up my mind that I'm just going to be indoors. I'm not going to shake anybody's hands. Okay. I'm not going to say hello to anybody. I'm just going to be. So, in fact, right now, I have my body smells of hand sanitizer.
Word.
You know, it's hand sanitizer all day.
Word.
And guess what? The amount of hand sanitizer you have shows how rich you are. If you don't have hand sanitizer, baby, it means you can afford that $300 shipping. That's the new bling bling. We bling with hand sanitizer right now, man.
All right, bro. So let's because a lot of people, you know, one thing about this show, for most of you.
So, but I hope that helped because we're asking me to tell. Yeah, and that's what I just did.
It helped, man, and that was dope. Everyone give it up for my boy NaMO. I mean, his really fun. You guys should check out his shows on
most people will say too soon
on YouTube.
They're like, you can't be telling jokes during COVID. But I'm like, when else are you gonna tell the jokes?
All right,
like so for real.
For some of the folks who joined us for the first time, just want to give you guys a background of what the show is about. Okay, so the show is called Stripe.
I'm also here for the first time, so give us all background.
So Stripe Live. What we do is it's about people who like Adidas. That's the whole thing that came out in front. So we're repping Adidas. You know, we're trying to promote Adidas and all that. At the same time, we want to talk about some of the issues that are facing us today. We try to clear off misinformation that's spread behind health, especially what's going on with COVID-19. And we also mix it in with like entertainment, fashion, finance, you know.
Should you use Lysol? Yeah, if you don't use Lysol.
Exactly. Yeah. And we bring in people who have some very important insight that they can share that can be beneficial to your knowledge, if you're tuning into this program. And last week we had Timi Dakolo on. Now we have NaMO this week, and right after NaMO we have Dr. Kel Akuma, who's going to take some questions about COVID-19. So
Which I don't know why I'm here. If you have a neurosurgeon, why am I here? For God? Like, I'm not the relevant person during this time.
Because you're a valuable asset.
No, I hear you, but I'm just saying compared to you called him a neuro what?
He's a vascular surgeon.
A who?
Vascular surgeon.
Wow. Another word I can't pronounce. Keep going.
All right. So what the reason I brought NaMO here is because we wanted to actually dive into the subject of how laughter can be used in times of difficulty to get you through the mental traumatic experience of a lockdown. And a lot of people might take this for granted, but laughter, I personally think laughter is a good medicine. We can be serious.
It's the best one.
It's the best medicine, actually. We can be serious.
And the reason is because it's cheap. And it's the only drug that is free.
It's free. You don't need health insurance for laughter.
Exactly.
So we wanted to talk about laughter. And so, NaMO, what is your understanding of, I know this might be a very cliche, weird question, but what does laughter mean to you in terms of, just...
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big...
This is an SAT GRE type question. What does laughter mean to you?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the laughter consists of an expression that brings a dramatically exposed experience ranging from the medulla oblongata that stretches into the frontal lobes and brings about a generic hypersensitivity within the chest that causes some level of vibration that ultimately would elicit endorphins and some of those natural feel-good hormones to be secreted in your brain that ultimately makes you feel very, 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 very good. It's an expression of the high.
Good.
Baba, wow. Did I win the prize?
No, you
Bros, calm down. Laughter is not that serious, man. The way you're asking the question, you're making it look like, yo, where did you keep your drugs? Where
you nailed it proper,
where's your ATM card? Yo, where's your...
I like how you involve endorphins, right? Is that how you said it? Endorphins?
Is it not endorphins or endomorph? Is endorphin, huh?
Endorphins or endomorphs?
Bro, you shouldn't be asking me. I'm the comedian here. You're the one in the healthcare sector. As far as I'm concerned, you asked me a question. I gave my best possible response. That's all that matters.
No, but
and if anybody disagrees with us, they should go and Google it. I am not Google as well.
Speaking of Google, let's get the Webster definition.
No. No, it's just laughter. It's just laughter. Let me tell you, the best thing about laughter, this is the point. The best thing about laughter that you need to understand is it's not in what people hear. It's not in the sound you make. And that's what people tend to misunderstand, because I could laugh and what I'm laughing could be deemed as sarcastic.
Yeah.
I could laugh and something that I'm saying could be deemed as, I'm trying to insult someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we should focus on is the idea of why people should keep their sense of humor during this time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? People need to just understand that at the end of the day, irrespective of what's going on around you, the reason why you need to keep a level head and the reason why you have to keep your sense of humor about you and, try to make it a focus of yours is because there's really no other way to escape the seeming bad news and seeming pressure and challenges that the period has. So we could define laughter all we want.
Yeah.
If you ask me as a comedian, I'll say, hey, what folks have to keep is their sense of humor.
Exactly.
I read this book by Trisha Erica's Trisha E something, and it's called something leadership. It skips my mind, but the whole premise was she was talking about leaders and how leaders have to have a as if mentality, right? And so to the point that we're trying to make earlier about why is this important at this time, even if you don't feel it, even if, we know things are bad, we know people are losing loved ones, we know how scary the time is, we know how challenging it is, the first step in my mind is to just be as if, keep that as if, that whole, like they'll tell a leader and say, hey, if you believe that the people who work for you are talented, over time, you begin to see that talent come out of them if you act as if. So if you act as if you still find things funny, even if it means you're having to go back to things that have made you laugh in the past, watch a movie, listen to something, get online and hang out with, the guy with the full beard and the one with the beard hasn't connected. The point is, at the end of the day, the choice you make, the choice you make to try to find humor is really to drive the as if. The more you drive the as if, the more you keep your sense of humor about you. And then laughter becomes more natural to the conversation.
So, I mean, all you say is awesome. But the thing is that a lot of people don't really understand this from a health perspective. Laughter actually has, so many properties so many characteristics that's good for your health. And people kind of take this for granted. I did,
Are you talking about the endorphin?
The endorphins and all those things that you brought up.
The endorphins. The endo.
A lot of people
Endo. Endo was one nickname of one guy like that in my class back in the day. We call him Endo. Endo never stayed in the class. For some reason, he always knew when the teacher was in the class, but he wasn't in the class. We don't know how he did it. We still haven't discovered how he did it, but Endo. So every time I hear the endorphin, that guy was a flyer. And the fence was very close to the class. So all he ever did was he found out a nice way of standing on the window and jumping over the fence and coming back. How he did it, we don't know. But when you hear endorphin, Endo. All right. So, just go ahead. You just reminded me of Endo.
Well, are you trying to say that was me? Nah, man. Me.
No, I'm just saying. I said what you were talking about. That's what you were talking about. Unless you have a deep, dark secret you're about to tell us.
No. I was very attentive. I attended class. I was a good
Endo.
I was a very
so go ahead with endorphin.
So for folks who are back, home watching this, so just to let you know, a few things that laughter can do for you in your health. So laughter relaxes the whole body. Okay, so a good.
You didn't know that part.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but laughter actually.
All of us don't know it. Because people always say, it's paining me. I can't see the relaxing.
No,
so whatever you are reading right now, that must be talking about other groups of people.
45 minutes after laughing, it keeps your muscles relaxed. So that's a good thing to know. Another very important thing that laughter does, especially around this time, because last week we were discussing about ways of boosting your immune system outside of, you taking the vitamin C's and the multivitamins. Laughter actually does aid with boosting your immune system because it decreases stress hormones and increases immune cells and infection fighting antibodies that improves your resistance.
That's what I try to explain to them. That is what I try to explain to them. I once had a situation where we went to visit somebody at a mental health hospital back home. And when we talk about laughter, I was trying to use laughter as a way to diffuse the environment, but I didn't like the way some of those doctors were looking at me because they kept looking at me and they kept moving their head like this. They happen. And they'll come to me, they'll say, are you related to the patient? Are you related to the patient? And then you don't know if you should answer because once you go to those kind of hospitals, especially in Nigeria, the problem is there is really no true method that they use to discover the problem. All they use is some observation. If they are too quiet, they'll be like, it don't they enter. It's starting. It's very, very still. And then if you're trying to use laughter to say you're doing vitamins inside your blood, they'll say, you don't hammer, it has entered. So either ways, I don't know that thing you are reading. If they are going to be very specific.
The next one actually goes to your point because you did mention this earlier. So laughter triggers the release of
Mr. Statistics. You guys say NaMO. Bro, my prayer is that we can go through this whole thing and the people that owe me money don't come. Because the people that owe me money, this is what I've been using live for. These IG live things. The reason why I show up is so that I can find them. They claim that they are not online. Don't worry, I'm watching. Mr. Statistics doesn't owe me money, but he knows how these things are. You understand? So we're watching. They're coming. They're coming.
Please, if you guys owe NaMO money, please pay NaMO.
No, the people here don't owe me money. Don't worry. I'll tell you once it comes online. I'm waiting for their name.
Oh, wait.
I'm watching them.
Mr. Statistics left, though. It's like he's only.
Yes, now.
What?
Mr. Statistics is an encourager. He comes online to encourage people. That's what he comes to do.
Anyway.
So he has come to encourage me. And, that's what we appreciate about him.
So endorphins. The endorphins.
Mr. Statistics.
Right? Endorphins. You did mention endorphins earlier on. So laughter does trigger the release of endorphins in the body. So that's for those who don't know what endorphins are, right?
Yes.
Endorphins are the natural feel-good chemicals in your body, and they
natural feel good.
Feel good. Those things that make you feel.
I feel good.
Feel good. You know how you just be chilling. You just down some.
And then you just start celebrating when the person says, "I will pay you what I owe you." And then the endorphins.
The endorphins start coming.
You start feeling good. You start feeling good. You say, Mr. Statistics, hey, you too much, Baba.
For those folks who are learning something new, endorphins are the chemicals in your body that make you feel good. And they're a direct result of laughter. So those is released in your body, and it promotes an overall sense of well-being and can.
There are so many other ways to get it, though.
It can even.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you, but it can endorphin is a very serious thing.
For physical pain, it can actually even help relieve pain. So laughter is good in that way. Another thing that laughter does is it protects your heart. Really.
Say that again.
It protects your heart, like your actual.
Wow.
Heart.
You see, that reminds me of the instance about this situation that is going on right now, because what's happening right now is the amount of breakups. People are not protecting people's hearts. Exactly. That's my problem. My problem is there are just too many people breaking up. Would you believe that people are now breaking up because of social distancing? They say, "Oh, baby, I don't think this can work. Why? We're socially distant." Which one is socially distant? When did that become a reason for breakup? But people are using it now. So go ahead. Endorphin protects your heart.
He said,
if not for endorphin,
he said
boys will break your heart.
Endorphins is a disease. Okay, so
endorphins.
Endorphins.
Bro, is this the spell? Now I'm confused. What's the spelling? Is it endo or endo?
It's endorphins. That's the right.
Oh, there's an R.
Yeah.
Duncan, why are you using this American accent? Now I just heard the R. You were keeping it silent. The R is there for a reason.
Now. It's endorphins.
They're supposed to say endorphins.
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 Endorphins. For our US, folks, it's endorphins. And then when we're talking to our Nigerian folks, it's endorphins.
Okay. I understand it now.
We gotta, we have, like I said, we have a split audience here, so we gotta
so keep going. But like I told you, people are breaking up right now. So endorphins will protect your heart that boy.
It does improve the function of blood vessels and increase blood flow, which can help protect you against a heart attack or other.
Sorry, I didn't know that's what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about relationships.
No, that relationship full of joy too, but
yes,
physical heart. And for those people trying to lose weight, laughter also helps burn calories. So that's something that
I don't know about that one. I have been trying it. I've been a comedian a long time. I've been laughing. I haven't lost weight. I don't know. What are you even reading? Because each time you mention something, I'm like, what are you reading? Are you using a dictionary now to tell us medical?
It's a study from helpguide.org.
What country did they do that study? That's what we need to know, because
that's
obviously means it's a North Korea kind of study.
No. No, the study was done here in the US.
But which state? Because there are some states that when you do a study there, you are sure that study will not work. Because if you go and do a study in Florida where 90% of the people there are above 70, what are you going to find? Which endorphin?
Okay, do you want to hear this one though?
Oh, go ahead, I'm listening.
Laughter may even
the disease of the endo. The endo is located between a man's two legs.
Laughter may even help you live longer. You didn't know this one, right?
Well, I'm still here. I'm a young man, so I can only tell you when I'm like 90. So let's check in again. Maybe by then we won't be using live anymore. You'll just be in my house with the press of the button.
There was a I think no, a old guy, but I think he was 102 years old, and his wife was 99 years old, and they've been together for over 80 years. They've been together.
Yeah.
And he was asked, "What is the secret of your
of your youth?"
What is the secret? What keeps you guys? What keeps you going? How come you're strong? You guys. You know what he said? He
No.
said happiness, and because he found the right person, and who has made him happy. That's why he feels the happiness is what has added to him living this long. And to be honest, he does have a point, because the
I
more you laugh,
don't know
the
if he
more
has
you're
a
happy.
point. I always feel like people who give those kinds of relationship mentions.
I mean, he's 101 years or 102
No,
years
I know,
old.
but at that point, you don't give an F about anything anybody said anymore. So you will say it and you just be like, man, that's just it. Mr. Statistics said, "You're welcome. I just made you release." Bro, the way you're using that release, I don't know. It just
doesn't
seems
sound
bad
right.
now.
When the
Yeah,
client
it's
says
sort
to
of made
another
a
guy
mess of the
about
whole thing.
release,
How would you put like release? Oh my God. And it's
No.
you sending it. So I don't know if you meant it for good. So
but yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
no, but the point is that I always think about those statements as though they're like 1 in a million. Come on, man. It's like Michael Jordan. Give us something that works for anyone. The problem with happiness is that happiness is based on happenings. Okay, you got a good one. That's great. But how about if you don't have the kind of, everything, all the challenges? I'm not knocking on his shine. I mean, it's 100 plus. He knows what he's talking about. But I'm just saying, the humor there is that we need advice that would, cut across multiple people.
By the end of the day, though,
You're not supposed to cup into your hand, dog can. You are not supposed to.
I was blocking it from going. This thing is not reaching you there, right?
It doesn't matter. We don't know that yet. WHO has been changing position. WHO has been changing position every week. You don't know what they're going to tell us next week. Next week, they might tell us that all of us that have been doing IG Live, it has finally caught up with us. So let me just do what I have to do right now. We don't know what direction WHO is going. Last week, they said it was 6 feet. Then they said it was on the shoe. Then they said it was 13 feet. Then they said it was only if you cough or you sneeze. Now they said it's now airborne, AC, fine, everything.
You talk.
Bro, I'm watching you. So once again.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Be careful with the way you drink that Lysol, bro.
I'm not drinking the Lysol. I'm just enhancing the quality of the drink that I'm drinking.
With Lysol.
Bro, keep going.
Okay, it's fine. Anyway,
I wasn't the one that recommended this, so you can't be killing the messenger.
We wanted to the reason for this was to talk about laughter and the importance of laughter through this period. And as you can see, I'm sure some of you are watching this and you're released. I don't use the word release.
Don't use the word release. Don't mind Mr. Statistic that just showed up here to be saying release. I don't know that word. Quarantine. COVID-19 and quarantine has spoiled certain words. There are certain words we don't use anymore.
Your body is putting out endorphins.
I don't know about the putting out.
Ouch. What word are we going to use now? We can't use putting out.
We use COVID-19 terms.
COVID-19 okay. Give us an example.
Stimulate.
So what should I use as a synonym for release or put out?
Laughter stimulates endorphins.
Thank you, sir. But wait, stimulate.
Yeah. Stimulate is okay because didn't you receive your stimulus check? Everybody's stimulating right now.
I see what you're
We are all under stimulation. You understand? You receive stimulation from the check. Donald Trump says we should drink Lysol. We're all under stimulation.
Okay.
So the level of stimulation is what we're on. So laughter also does stimulation. We're all stimulated. Look at me right now. I wasn't shaking like this before. I wasn't shaking like this before. But after Donald Trump said Lysol is the answer, inject it, drink it, bro, my hands are now like this. We're all stimulated.
He was only being sarcastic, is what he said. That's
what he said after. And the people that told him that are those detractors. they see something that
So
is
you're
working.
saying that he was right the first time, but they're trying to derail.
No, he's the president. Bro, in January, they knew this stuff was coming. All of them sold their stock. They went to go and buy stock in companies that are working. That man has more information than we do. So we're not trusting him because he's Donald Trump. We're just saying he's the president of the United States. Some 65 million people, no, 60 plus million people voted him into power. So now that he has access.
If you're going to be spraying, if you're going to take it, I don't think you need to be spraying all the Lysol in the cup at once. You got to take it gradually. Don't you
see,
think?
you've even started agreeing with me that I should take it. I knew it. You can't even stand your ground. This guy, the endorphins is what's wrong with you. You're endorphinated.
I don't know. He said he's the president, so whatever he says is the truth, right? Whatever he says is right, even though he was sarcastic.
He said he was sarcastic, but that's exactly what he has been doing since he became president. He lies and he counter lies. So nobody, if you meet somebody who's been lying, he's lied 12,000 times. He's lied more times than people can even lie in a TV series.
That means the lies.
And then the person tells you one thing that you think is a lie, then he tells you something else that is now the other one that is now supposed to be a lie. You are not sure. Is that a lie of the lie? Or is that the truth of the lie? Or is that the lie of the truth? Which one are we doing, bro?
I don't know, man. But it's good that you're trying.
That's why it's the endorphins.
At least, you know, if we go through this period, you don't have any issues, then at least we can emulate you and we can, you know, take Lysol as well in our drinks.
So, you're saying it with a sad look on your face.
Because I don't know, man. Like, for real. Like, I don't know. I know from my background that Lysol is gonna, if I take it's poison, it's gonna kill me. But you're saying something that is brand new. You're saying something that is fresh.
Yo, it's not me. The president of the most powerful country in the world, who will be running for re-election in November, said we should find a way of using ultraviolet, which is in the sun, which I can't get, or we'll find a way of testing disinfectant. And the people that are, part of my problem is the people that are drinking bleach. That's the one I don't understand. Because the man said disinfectant, but people went to go and drink bleach.
They're overdoing now. They're taking a whole
so level. Let's stay very positive. Okay, let's stay positive. If you don't like us drinking Lysol, vote him out in November. That's my message. So that you won't come back and tell us that we should drink crude oil. Look at crude oil is below zero now. Nobody has any place to keep crude oil. So it means that at this rate, this man might come back. The same way he pitched us on chloroquine, that is not doing anything. The same way he pitched us on Lysol. He will now come and say we should drink crude oil so that he can move the market that they bought. Bros, at the rate that we're going, we're stuck in a quagmire. So all we're just encouraging people to do is, bro, if you don't like what you're hearing, vote somebody else in November. It's not a political campaign. It's just make your decision and your choice. And speaking about Stripe Life.
Yeah.
Even though when I saw it first, I was like, is Duncan now doing strip club work?
No,
Strip Life.
Not, it's Stripe Live. So
yes, Stripe, now. Yeah. So Stripe Live, that leaf, I said I was going to ask, and I told everybody, that leaf on the Adidas original,
yes,
is it black weed or tobacco leaf?
It's called
don't think about it too much, because black people wear Adidas a lot.
It's a type of leaf. It's called is it trefoil, something like that?
Don't answer before they pull our sponsorship, I beg.
No, I want to make sure that I'm getting the right.
Adi. That's what I call them. Adi. They do well.
No, I'm just making sure that I have the right.
But ultimately, though, if you think about it, for different countries right now, it's like there's a race to which one is the craziest public official, right? People forget that Donald Trump is also a public official, right?
Yeah.
It's like a race to the bottom, whether it's the bling bling governor or the one that sent Hennessy or the one that has told us to drink Lysol or the one, look at the Philippines guy that said if they see anybody that has COVID, that they will shoot him dead.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, Baba, how are you going to tell when somebody has COVID? Is it, if the person like, he will shoot you? It was like, no, he meant if you go outside, instead of being on the lockdown, if you go outside, they will shoot you. I'm like, how about if the person is now rushing to the hospital because he has the COVID? You now shoot him before he gets there. Like, it's a race to stupidity. Everybody's
No,
just
man.
outdoing himself.
It's
So
called
that's why I think that
it's
Donald
called
Trump's
it's called cognitive dissonance, and that's actually one of the topics that I will be discussing in one of my future lives. I'm gonna bring some people over to discuss what's called cognitive dissonance. For
now
those, for those,
cognitive dissonance is something we've been dealing with a long time.
yes,
Long time.
and it's
Cognitive
bad because
dissonance.
I believe strongly that cognitive dissonance is part of evolution. It's one of the things that just like language and learning evolves,
Mhm.
cognitive dissonance is a huge part of the um, I would say the dumbing down of the human race in layman terms is what I would say
Mm.
cognitive dissonance. For those who don't
I
know
don't
what
know. We're all
we're
confused.
talking
We're all
about,
confused.
cognitive dissonance is when things that are proven, you know what is fact, but out of fear or the belief or some kind of stowaway belief, your rational thinking gets put in the back corner and you start believing a lot of misinformation and conspiracy theory that don't make factual sense. For
Mm.
instance, using, disinfectant, drinking disinfectant or drinking bleach and things like that. That's part of the effects of cognitive dissonance. Um,
I, I don't know if I'm going to seriously say. Let me give an example of confusing. So cognitive dissonance that you've just talked about, these conflicting ideas, having two
mhm.
thoughts, all those kind of things. My biggest challenge about it is that it's very hard to tell if it is that or something bigger. Because when look at what's happening in China with black people, right? Black people are doing all the racist things, saying black people shouldn't come in, black people should this, black people should that. Bro, think about it now.
Yeah,
You are in a country where people are sick, people are unhealthy, things are going down the drain. You turn on the internet, Africa has the least amount of cases. Africa is supposed to be the third world country.
yeah,
People are not dying as much as they are dying in all the developed country.
yeah.
And then in your own country of China that you are there, even the black people themselves, they are not the ones that are filling up the hospitals. They're not the ones who are, my brother, why won't you believe that they're the ones that carried the thing to come and they came with immunity?
No, I mean, again,
And that's how it happens. Cognitive dissonance is not like, oh, somebody's just, people are waving at you, man.
yeah.
Fumi noodles.
Fumi Noodles.
You
Fumi
know,
Noodles is a huge fan.
it's not that
Fumi
people
Noodles
are
was
crazy.
one of our first guests last week, so it was good to have her back. I'm waiting for
Nice.
everybody that was on last week. It's like I don't know where everybody is. I don't know if they're sleeping because it's Monday. But
So what I'm trying to say is that there's a thin line between the cognitive dissonance in that general term and the fact that these things are driven by certain unexplained passions or ideas.
yeah,
Like people are tapping into something. Both the
mm,
people spreading the so-called fake news and the people that are spreading the propaganda, they're tapping into something, and that's just one of the ways to see it.
yeah,
You live in a country like in Nigeria, right? We're
yeah,
Nigerians. 95 million people are in poverty.
yeah.
95 million. And then you have a government that says that they are doing well. I
Cognitive
mean,
dissonance.
you got to wonder, is this cognitive dissonance or is this juju? Or somebody has put a curse, It's like, so it's just hard to tell. But ultimately, what I know is what has happened in Nigeria and in Africa and other parts of the world is the fact that when you keep your sense of humor, that
Yeah,
is how you go through those kinds of experiences. You can still laugh at things,
yeah.
the comedian's job, our job
And
is to be
our
able to do that.
Nigerians have that. I think that's one of the things that get us because if you imagine all the things that are issues in Nigeria today in the 21st century, you still have no constant light, electricity. You still have the crazy air pollution. You still have things that don't work. You still go out to places and you could get robbed. There's so many things that go on, but at the end of the day, still you still see people on Sunday going to church. They're so happy. They're you know,
Yeah.
they're praying, they're praising God, they're, you know, they're laughing, they're still, and I think laughter is one of the things that has been able to get a lot people through a lot of the crazy stuff, like the stress that they go through. Um, you know, and it's something that people need to understand that is really good. And if you find an opportunity, you know, to just burst out laughing or find something that's going to induce you to laugh, you should do that, because it's very, very important for your health,
No,
especially
it's overload right now. There's
exactly,
enough
especially
videos
with
and
this
people
stuff.
online trying to make everyone laugh, which is good. You know,
Yeah, memes.
I'm
I
all
think I
in.
think memes are one of the best things invented, because oh my god, like I there's sometimes that I'll be going through a bad day, and all of a sudden I can just go online and I look at a meme and I just burst out laughing, and I totally forget what was making me upset, you know, because I looked at a meme. You know, so you know, with technology, with internet, there's always some way to find something that's going to put you in a good mood. So if you're upset, if you're angry, you want to get out of that stink, you can just simply pick up your phone and just look for a funny meme and just
Yeah.
burst out laughing, and it will just release all that, you know,
You
suppress
know,
all that anger, all that bad feeling, and you know, just, you know, laugh for just a moment.
one funny thing that always happens to me when I do stand up is when people, you know, like if, for instance, when you're, you know, somebody else is performing, you're at the back, and then you hear the somebody in the audience get offended or get upset at what was said,
Mm-hmm.
right? And why it's always fascinating to me is that the reason why you're offended or upset has to do with your ability to process,
Mm-hmm.
right? So technically, it's a choice you've made. It's not the joke, it's a choice, right? That you've said, I'm not going to view things through the lens of humor. I'm going to view things through the lens of what affects my sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And so when we were talking about it earlier, when we started up, and we're talking about the things that people should do during this time to keep, and I was trying to talk about keeping your humor, and I was making reference to that book. You know, the other thing about it is changing your perspective.
Perspective,
You
yes.
know, if you don't have the right perspective watching something that is supposed, like if a comedian or somebody who you already know the person is trying to be funny. You know that part. You know,
Yeah.
this is what the person does. And then the person puts out something. If you change your perspective, chances are you will most likely see the humor first, right? You
Okay.
see the humor the person was pursuing. And then you can now bother yourself to say, hey, you know what? Let me enter a different area with it and say, hey, you didn't, you know. And then you can now make a decision. Now, if it was free context, I put it up on the web, everybody can talk, give opinion, that's good. But if you come out to look for us, like you go to a comedy club, you went all the way to go find the person, and you sat down in the audience, and then, you know, the person is slinging his jokes and trying to slam and all that, and then you make the choice to pursue a different angle. Now, that's where the challenge, that's where I see, you know, when I watch people do that, I'm like, so why did you bother coming out? Your perspective was, you know, why did you
Yeah.
bother coming out? You could have just stayed home. You know, you could
So
have just.
so NaMO, let me ask you, can you comment your handle real quick so I can pin it so that people who are interested in following you can go and follow you on your
I
Instagrams?
don't know. Follow these days. You know, I don't know if the people that should be following me are the ones that should be following me. I'm never really sure again, because
Bro,
there was a time when
it's nothing wrong with people
there was,
following you. So just
there was a time
comment.
when people used to follow you to do something for you.
Yes.
Now they follow you to do something against you. They
All right.
follow you to try to punish you.
All right, so
You
we
know.
we have about 7 minutes left before it times us out. In this time, I wanted to ask you a few questions and also open it up for people to also ask you questions. So my question would also be, this is my own question. When did you
This is where we
realize?
do the giveaway.
Was that?
People are here for the giveaway.
Yeah, people are here for giveaway, but giveaway is after the show. So I
Oh,
I,
sorry.
I, I would pick people, 5 people, who tuned in from the list, and then
Okay.
they would have to send me pictures of the Adidas gear,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
that's from that list that I'll choose, and that's how we get the 5 people that will send out cash. We have sent out some cash out to folks who tuned in last week. I don't know if any of the winners are on the show right now. They can
do
say
the host
hello.
do the host get selected too?
You said?
We the participants, can we be selected too?
You can be selected, yes. But you still need to send us your.
I bet select me. We're all on quarantine. We're all hungry.
You need to send us your Adidas gear picture. You want to send us a picture.
This beard does not keep itself. So,
anyway, so let me ask you a question. For folks, I don't know who is on this live who has aspirations of becoming a stand-up comedian or an actor or an MC. So maybe somebody might be on here that might be oh wow, Fumi Nodo, she got something last week, so she was one of our winners last week, so she did get something. That's awesome.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so
somebody said, Bros, are you an Adidas ambassador?
Yes, I am an Adidas. Again, the name of the show
is
Stripe
so can't
Life.
you see Stripe Life Live?
Exactly.
Powered by Adidas Originals. And it's not Adidas, it's Adidas. Adidas.
Okay.
Because the way the person asked the question, it seems like he said, Bros, are you an Adidas ambassador?
First off, let's I don't know if I said this disclaimer.
You said he's a Nike fan. Bro, this is not Nike Stripe Live. This is Stripe
Live, not Nike Live. Okay, so if you're looking for Nike,
don't worry, just stay with us so that we can convince you to become an Adidas.
Yes. So Adidas. If you want to win cash prizes, you gotta be an Adidas fan by force.
Unless if he was saying that he wants to show you a Nike attire and then you give him the Adidas money.
No Nikes here. So NaMO, let's quickly answer this question. What
All right,
is advice for any of the folks on here who are looking into pursuing career with stand up? What would you say are the things to basically have to equip yourself to accomplish this? I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done, but just from your own personal experience, can you just let us know briefly, because we have about
no problem
minutes.
Number one, to be a comedian, you have to be somebody who's interested in writing, to write jokes. People always think it's about the speaking. No, 85%, 90% of all comedians, you don't know them. They're out there slaving away, trying to make their craft strong. They're there trying to find a place to perform. You don't know them. You only see the 10%. That's all you see. So a bulk of them are either writing for other people that you see. They're either performing alongside other people and the video doesn't catch them. They've performed in places where you can't even see the video on. So the principle is for you to be able to write. If you can write jokes, if you can do a setup and a punchline, and you continue to do that, that's the first rule. The second rule is you got to perform. You got to perform. You got to take what you've written and you got to perform it. This is the one skill that you can only get better as you do it. It's very hard for you to learn how to drive by thinking about driving. It's like, no matter how much you imagine, I remember as a kid, I used to watch my dad's leg. I was like, man, I'll kill it once I finally get this car. Once they just put me inside that thing, I'm gone. But by the time they put it in, I now figured out I had to look at the mirror, look at this, look at that. Same thing with comedy. It's like you have to write and then you have to perform. You perform, you're good.
That's awesome, man.
And then hang out with the right people. Don't go and hang out with people that are just smoking weed and drinking alcohol, claiming that they are comedians. Those guys are not comedians. Those guys are just one step away from jail. They're not the people that you should be hanging around with. So if you are here saying, I want to be a comedian, and then you think comedians are drinking. No, those guys are skilled writers. And besides, if you can't hold a pen, if you can't read, if you can't write, bro, I'm not sure if comedy is for you. I think school first. Just go and do school first. Okay. Then now come and pursue it. Somebody says, I will write in local language. Bros, only local language people will attend. And I don't know how many of them. You gotta do this stuff in English.
Your growth by
exactly. It's just like the people who write in pidgin. I always say it's good to write in pidgin. But when you write in pidgin, you think of a pidgin audience. When I mean pidgin, broken English, and then you want to perform that way. If you do any other thing, half of the people there went to school. Nigerians are the most educated group of people, immigrants in the entire US.
Yep.
So if you're in the US, for instance, and you're like, hey, I'm going to be all pidgin, the population are well educated, so they could have understood you in English.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They think of pidgin as an expression. They don't think of it pidgin as a way of life. You'll be like, bros, alpha, alpha. You know, they'll be like, yo, calm
I've got
down.
30 seconds, and I want to thank you
All
very
right.
much for coming on here. I mean, you've been a wonderful inspiration to this show. A lot of people have benefited from listening to you talk about. And guys, he was only messing around. He wasn't really drinking Lysol. So just don't drink Lysol, please. Okay. We don't want to be held liable for anything like that. NaMO, thank you. Are you serious?
Blessings on deck. Getting money inside my pocket. It's always a vibe, yeah, we cashing out, cashing out. Ain't chasing no clout, we just flex. Man, them go and big up your chest. Rocking from east to the west, you know, yeah, you know. So call up all them girls, with the big things. We're about to shut things down, oh.